and welcome to Drunk Book Club.
My name is Sarah.
And my name is Chandler.
Tonight we will be doing a quite sexy novel, Captive of My Desires by Johanna Lindsey.
Captive of My Desires.
So good.
No, this book,
So good.
Sarah's idea.
I wanted to do a romance novel because I feel like that is actually probably the most important genre of fiction being written because more people buy romance novels than any other type of book.
#1 New York Times bestseller.
Always.
That has to count for something.
It really doesn't with romance novels. You'd be surprised at how crappy most of those #1 bestsellers are.
Okay.
Love it.
This is like not the first one in the series.
No, it's
like that's how she's written other books.
Yeah,
and I thought this was complete shit. Like, can you imagine what her other books are like?
I mean, some of them are worse. Some of them are a lot better.
It took me so long to read this book. So I was just every sentence I would just be like, why am I reading this? While I was reading this, I would stop every chapter just to like try to fill my brain with something positive. And I realized she wrote every chapter as if that was the only chapter the reader was going to read. Because every chapter, like in some point in the chapter, recaps the previous chapter. Like, does she think her readers are that dumb that they don't realize what just happened?
No, that's not it. It's because romance novels are made to a formula.
It was like, it barely was a romance novel because no one had sex until like 200 pages into the book. And before that, it was all like,
What?
pirates.
#1, you don't need sex to have romance.
The romance novel as in like his member did this and her nipples perked up. Like that kind of language didn't appear until like 200 pages of the book.
I bedazzle. Anyways, what?
The main villain in this book is supposed to be like the scariest pirate anyone's ever met.
Kind of drunk.
Basically, he's just like a drunk old guy. He gets disposed after like 10 pages. Why didn't she just have the book be a romance novel without the pirates?
Because
there was no need for pirates.
Because the original book in this series is James Mallory, and he was a gentleman pirate, which has started the whole line of books about these people being pirates and then giving it up and regretting it.
The main male character, who was like the love interest, he rapes his future wife.
Okay.
He rapes her.
Let's take a moment and talk about the fact that in romance novels, oftentimes there's this element of domination.
Rape.
And then they end up being together in the end. It's very creepy. The only way I can explain how romance novels often will victimize women or make their men domineering jackass jerks and just have them explain away their behavior and like forgive them over and over in a way that you would never accept. Like you would send these people to self-help groups. The only way I can explain it is this is a fantasy. This is an outlet for, I don't know, some cultural feelings that women must have to be dominated sometimes a little bit. A lot of women are reading these, and I don't know what kind of values they're getting from them.
The values that no matter what you do, it doesn't matter because when you get that fluttery feeling in your stomach, it means it's true love.
Yeah, actually this book pissed me off because he ruins her reputation. Doesn't recognize the fact that he did it, so he doesn't feel guilty about it at all.
And then rapes her!
Okay, but she explains that way because he's like, I thought you were a pirate. Must have been a slut. There's a lot of slut terminology underneath the surface in this book. Actually, really, girl. Really, there's a lot of romance novels that have a lot more feminist values than this. Most of them have shoes on the cover. Let's not talk about that.
You might have noticed this little bookmark. I left it here because there was one quote that I liked.
Ooh. Quote time! Quote time!
This book takes place during the 19th century.
It's a Regency novel.
The author, she definitely like put some research into how people talk, into how novels were written during this time.
She's been doing this shit for a while.
She definitely knew exactly what people sounded like. The main character says, "You want a piece of me?" Can we just go ahead and say, this is not literature.
No.
This is not literature.
This is not meant to be literature.
How many martini glasses out of 5 would you give this novel?
I would give it 0.01 martini glass. She clearly put no effort into this novel at all.
0.25 martini glasses, which is more than Sarah, surprisingly. I thought she would give it more.
This sucks. It just sucks.
You'd think that the fact that she was a pirate would make this story somehow more compelling, but basically she was like, oh, I'm the pirate who does nothing evil.
And I'm going to find it very hard to resist you when you're staring at me from your chains with your brooding eyes.
He had muscles on every part of his body, and he was just so gorgeous, and everything about him was just, like, amazing.
He's the ideal, basically, but a jackass, too.